So today we're going to teach Prudence how to roll over. And there's some key fundamentals with any tricks. And as we start tricks, one general rules are it should always be fun. There should always be treats involved in teaching this process and in the end, because there's nothing that we need to get upset about if they don't do it. We're just molding and shaping and luring behaviors. So tricks should always be fun. They should always be with food. And then they should know some core behaviors first before we do those. So before we get into all the trick stuff, the core behaviors that our dogs really should know, just the foundation of tricks, would be to sit, which that is what Prudence is doing now, and to lie down. So Michelle, if you can just have her down.
Down.
Good. And so lay down or down would be laying down, not get off of me. And then another piece to it is making sure your dog can pick their head up. Some dogs are so conditioned to keeping their head down and not looking up at you, or using different muscles. So we couldn't just all of a sudden, you and I on a day-to-day basis are walking all the time. And if we go into thinking, well, we're in shape, we should be able to do yoga, we should be able to do weightlifting, we should be able to run a marathon, right? Because we feel pretty good because we walk so much. But we're using different muscles. And so we can train our dog all day long to sit and to down and to stay, but they're using different muscles and they're aware of those. So as we're teaching tricks, you have to remember that they're using different muscles, and it may be difficult, and you may have to slow down and use the different muscles and realize that they are doing something different. That's not, oh, you can do sitting down, so of course you can roll over. Well, maybe those muscles don't work in their head. I mean, we haven't conditioned them. So always remember and be aware that they need to know the basics, but it's also learning a new skill. And so their muscles have to train themselves to get there as well. So be patient through trick training. So as you start your journey with tricks, and whatever that is, always remember to be patient. Think through the steps of teaching a trick. What do we need a dog to do? So as Prudence is just sitting here, let's talk about just how to problem solve a trick. So you taught her to be sad. And to do that, just kind of talk me through the little steps that you thought through. And it's kind of weird because you go, I don't know, I just did this, right? But what's the first thing that she has to do to be sad?
So she has to lay down.
She has to lay down. So let's go ahead and have her lay down.
Yeah.
And we'll get in a little bit more detail with this. And then what did you have to think about? Well, if I want her to be sad, what else does she have to do?
So we wanted her to put her head on the ground.
Okay.
And step by step, it was honestly just lowering her head down, and every little inch she gave us, we gave her a treat.
Yeah, right. So it's really, as you think about tricks, it's breaking it down to, well, I need your, even if her eyes looked down, right? You're going to acknowledge that, because that's the first step is, well, they're going to look down, and then all of a sudden their head starts dropping down, and then we got to have a kind of a stay, right? So she can hold that position to stay sad, because we don't just want her to put her chin on the ground and then all of a sudden pick it back up. So, so as we get into the tricks, and we are talking through the steps of all the tricks that Prudence knows and what we're going to teach her, is what are the steps. So no matter what trick you want to teach your dog, break down the steps first, and then work on each step until you have it solid, and then you put it together in the end. Okay. So we're not, when you're teaching tricks, you never back chain, it's always forward chaining as it relates to training. So we're going to get into the tricks now.